Ichigo finally finished his training. Squad Zero made him a custom garment which can withstand the pressure of the fall and opened a path way from the heavens to the earth to allow him to descend. Upon hearing the invasion had started, he quickly rushed to get there like a hypersonic rocket launching into action. He also called Urahara to inform him of his arrival and told them not to worry. Now that's a reliable hero for you. Meanwhile, Jugram, Yuha Baha's second in command, was dealing judgment to the weak Stern Ritters. I and K were eliminated, and their powers were restored to His Majesty. In the battlefield, Rukia encountered a furious Stern Ritter F as Not, who started launching poisonous projectiles at her. Despite defending it with her ice, it managed to penetrate her shield and inflict her skin directly. However, this is where things took a wrong turn for F. Rukia blocked his attacks using her ice powers. As Not was in disbelief, and went on a long rant about how fear cannot be avoided and why it's the most dangerous sensation. Regardless, Rukia wasn't fazed by his threats and ended up freezing him. But wait right there. F unlocked his secret technique, allowing him to turn into a monstrosity and corner Rukia like a scared mouse. Fear not, brethren, the mighty Byakuya Kuchiki came to save the damsel from her distress. Using his Shikai alone, he was able to dismantle as Note's entire attack. Rukia then used her Bankai to end his life in a fashionable manner. Now there's a true ice princess for you. Just when you thought the Soul Reapers were winning, Stern Ritter 5 showed up and started turning bodies into cookies. Yeah, his power is imagination, but fret not, because the strongest warrior in the Soul Society came to prevent his diabolical expedition. Kenpachi Zaraki versus Gremmy. What an exciting matchup. The ability to cut anything meets the ability to imagine anything. Kenpachi kept on cutting him, while Gremmy kept on healing himself and launching lava blasts at him. Even though Kenpachi cut through it, he was sealed inside a water prison, unable to move or breathe. Leave it to Kenpachi to cut anything and escape in a heroic manner. For the first time ever, Gremmy felt the thrill of battle, having met someone strong enough to go blow to blow with him. Their encounter was something truly epic and enlightening. It was fighting at its finest. After a series of blows, Gremmy unleashed his trump card. A meteor descended upon the Sarate, threatening to destroy everyone and everything. Despite the looming threat, Kenpachi simply smiled and headed straight towards the meteor. In a tale straight out of biblical legends, he managed to slice the meteor in half. However, things didn't end there, because V's vision knew no bounds. He imagined deep space and Kenpachi burnt while hovering in the cosmos. I don't told you Kenpachi can cut anything, including space, which bamboozled Gremmy, who exploded on impact. All this was to no avail, since Kenpachi was a monster. In the end, Gremmy succumbed to his might and admitted defeat. After his nerve-wracking battle with Gremmy, Kenpachi was caught with a sucker punch by a bunch of Stern Ritters who ganged up on him. Fortunately for him, Ichigo came flying down like a shooting star and wiped the floor with the Stern Ritters. They tried teaming up, but our boy was too powerful. Even after they used their secret technique, he was just standing there making them all look like fools. It got to the point where he was surrounded by several Stern Ritters who were gunning after his bounty. Out of nowhere, Yuhabaha unleashed his move, sending a giant beam up to the sky. Ichigo tried rushing there. However, his best friend, Uryu Ishida, was standing in the way. While he was left dumbfounded, Oriheim shielded him from the arrows. It must really sting having your best friend betray you like that. Also, Orihime was looking fine as usual. Before they could plan their next move, Yuha and his squad launched to the heavens to invade the royal palace. Ichigo was left confused until Urahara showed up to teleport them. Rukia and Renji had their hands full dealing with a furious Baz B and Giselle. Her abilities allow her to control zombies and used Bambi to do her dirty bidding. The combination of Giselle and Bambi was a match made in heaven. Her spotlight didn't last long since it was obscured by Mayuri's light. His technology managed to pull a number on Giselle, and even after she gathered an army of zombies, he did the same by summoning Arankars. It was time for the final showdown between two necromancers. At the offset, Mayuri seemed like he had the upper hand until zombie Hitsugaya showed up. After joining the battle, Hitsugaya started pulling moves we've only seen in Mortal Kombat. His drive and tenacity were on a whole other level. Unfortunately, he had a bad matchup fighting Mayuri, who completely outclassed him in every way imaginable. At the end, he took control of Hitsugaya and two other captains. On the other side of the battlefield, Byakuya turned out to be an unstoppable machine, dealing with 3 stern Ritters all on his own. His Bankai is still one of the most appealing releases to this day. Mayuri also joined him in battle after dealing with Giselle. It seems that the Soul Reapers are starting to turn the tide of battle in their favor. We are then thrown into a meeting between Yhwach and Ichibei, a flashback of when they met a long time ago. Yhwach used his almighty eyes to see into the future and decided to attack Ichibei head-on. The consequences of his actions were severe, as his almighty vision was stolen. Back in the present day, Yuha successfully invaded the royal palace and met Senjumaru upon his arrival. She greeted him with a warm and courteous welcome, to which he repaid the favor. Being one of the 5 royal guards, she managed to defeat the first opponent easily. However, things took an unexpected twist when Yuha summoned his best warriors. One of them possessed a power similar to a black hole and devoured her giant. The other invincible Hercules managed to slice her, while the sharp-shooting gunman landed a clean hit, killing her on the spot and destroying the royal palace. To their surprise, all this was an illusion. Senjumaru, Ichibei, and the rest of the royal guards finally showed up and revealed their trick. They ended up imprisoning all the stern Ritters, and that's when the deadly Etsunimaya made an appearance. The creator of Zanpakutos unleashed the most fatal sword in his collection and went on a killing spree. No one was safe from his onslaught, as a single slice was able to kill you instantly. Yuha teleported outside of the prison cell and went ahead to challenge the big bad wolf, Ichibei Hyosube. Ichibei wasn't someone you'd take lightly. In fact, he is the strongest of the royal guards and the personal protector of the Soul King. With a single strike, he sent Yuha flying miles away, and another strike slammed him down. He even took his voice. Now what kind of vicious monstrosity is this? Even so, Yuha came to throw hands and shot himself up. He then clashed swords with the Quincy King, while the stern Ritters tried their best to deal with the rest of the royal guards. Ishida was busy dealing with Senjumaru, and Etsu was caught lacking by stern Ritter D, the death-dealing, who was capable of poisoning someone by adjusting the toxicity of a substance. Using blood as his component, he managed to infiltrate Etsu's system and weaken him. Ishida was doing fairly well against Senjumaru, and Jugram was fighting Tenjiro the demon. It seems that Yuha's second-in-command lost against the might of the Royal Guard. Etsu, on the other hand, managed to cut Stern Ritter D, and Senjumaru eventually got the better of Uryu. All the Stern Ritters were dealt with, and only Yuha remained. Those two legends went at it, but Yuha fell short against the might of Ichibei. Realizing he was about to lose, he unleashed his secret technique, which siphoned powers from the lower-ranked Stern Ritters and bestowed it to the higher-ups. With this, Yuha was empowered, so were the killed Stern Ritters resurrected. It was time for round 2. With their newfound abilities, the Stern Ritters seemed invincible. For the first time since the fight started, the Royal Guards were on the defensive. Yuha was also going toe-to-toe with Ichibei, until he released his Bankai, that is. Meanwhile, it seems that the Stern Ritters managed to overpower the Royal Guardians and get the best of them. It's quite unfortunate to see the Divine Protectors beaten so easily. They were made fools, to be honest. Just then, they confessed they were only using a paltry of their potential and decided to release their true power. Once Senjumaru activated her Bankai, we were teleported to a fantasy land of her choosing. The heavens rumbled as she dealt with the Stern Ritters one by one, dealing with each one according to their weakness. Ice, fire, black holes, you name it. She possessed everything. She single-handedly defeated them all, and Ichibei decided to play rough and used his Bankai to remove Yuha's name and title. He left him broken and weak and stomped him like an ant, finishing the attack with a majestic gesture. Now that's real power for you. That's all for this episode. If you want more content like this, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated. Till next time, stay true.